All right, everybody, welcome back to the Ali Iqbal Show. I'm your gracious and humble host, Ali Iqbal. Today we have a very, very special guest. Before we introduce the special guest, obviously I've got to plug myself. My name is Ali. I'm a real estate agent here on Long Island. If you need help buying, selling, leasing, or renting, I want to make your process as simple, easy, and convenient as possible. Be sure to give me a call, 631-604-8567. Again, that's 631-604-8567. Now, without further ado, we have somebody who's done monumental things throughout the real estate world. A very tremendous guest today who's done more than I could probably do in a couple of lifetimes. So
I don't believe that.
give a warm welcome to Nicole Schwartz, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Well, Nicole, for those of us that aren't familiar with you, can you just give us a little bit of a background on yourself, where you came from, how you got into real estate, just a little bit more about you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Nicole Schwartz Diaz. I work with RE/MAX Integrity Leaders. I'm an owner of our Smithtown and Melville location as well. I have been a licensed realtor for 5 years. However, the last 2 were full-time. So before that, I was a project manager for a solar company. I loved it. The day that I passed my real estate exam was the day that I got offered this position. And I took the safe route. So I took the salary job. I did a couple deals here and there. I mean, when I say like 3 in 3 years, I was like 0.02% realtor. And 2 years ago, I decided to take the jump, quit my job, do real estate full time, and it's been wonderful. I love it.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool. Wait. I think a huge question for a lot of us agents is picking a broker, picking the right brokerage, joining a broker that supports you in terms of helping, because it's a difficult business at the end of the day, and it's very difficult, especially for people getting in. So choosing a broker who's going to give you the right resources and give you the support that you need to succeed in the industry is so important. So what do you think are some of the most important things to look out for when you're initially choosing a broker?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I always say real estate is a lonely business, but it doesn't really have to be. And I think it's very important to kind of find some people in the industry that you connect with, that you can kind of have on this crazy journey with you, right? Because you join and it's like, well, now what? Nothing that we did in school really comes into the real world of selling real estate. So with that being said, that's why it's so important that you pick a brokerage that matches your values, that offers you the tools that you feel you need. So when I decided to go full-time real estate, I chose a big name brokerage with a big brand that I felt I needed because no one knew who I was, so they should know who I work for. So that was kind of my philosophy in the beginning. And then about a year in, I met my broker now, who's Peter Grosso with RE/MAX Integrity Leaders. And he was just providing me with so much value that I didn't know existed in the real estate world, right? It's competitive, let's be honest. I mean, there's plenty of business for everyone, but this is a very competitive industry. And I didn't really find anyone who wanted to help, so to speak, where I was. So when I met Peter, he was just like giving me all these little gems, like, how do you want to build your business? Who do you want to be? Where do you want your business to come from? And he was offering me a lot of value and insight and tools that helped him build his business and his brand. And I just felt it was the right fit for me. Like, I truly have a mentor, not just a broker. We've had 7 a.m. meetings where we sit and talk about what I want my business to look like, and we plan out how we're going to get there. So we have a ton of tech tools at my brokerage. I'm big on social media. That's really how I do most of my business. So that was important to me. We have a green screen. We have all these video editing tools, like anything you could want, it's here.
Right, and that's so important to have the right tech and the right tools and having the right broker behind you who can give the support that you really need to succeed in this business, because it is difficult. It is definitely difficult. There's so many different things that you learn when you get into the industry, and some things you learn easily, and some things you unfortunately have to learn the hard way. If you could go back in time and go back to an earlier Nicole, if you can go back and tell Nicole when she first entered real estate and when she first became an agent, when she first got her license, what would you tell her?
Oh, geez. Well, I would have told her to take the leap because, like I said, I didn't. I was scared. So I would have said, take the leap, have faith in yourself, reach out to people that are doing what you want to do way better than you are and ask them for help, because that I think is the hardest part, right? Like we all get into this and we kind of want to feel like I can do this on my own, and it's humbling to ask someone for help and say, hey, I just went to school, I did 75 hours, I passed, but I really actually have no idea what I'm doing. So I wish I had done that initially. And I also wish I did. So when I worked part-time, I had a broker. He was really ahead of the times as far as like video and social media goes. No one was doing it. And I wish I had taken that piece of advice at that time. And just like get over yourself. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and be who you are. I think in the beginning I wanted to work with everybody. And now I realize that there's people who are going to work well with me and we're going to enjoy each other's personalities, and that's great. And then there's others that aren't, and there's a really good fit for them too. And that's okay.
Right. No, absolutely. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
One of the most important things in our business as realtors is generating leads, generating business, because if we can't generate business, then we don't make the big bucks. So
We have no business.
So if I had to ask you, what's your preferred method of generating business? I know that you just said that you're big on social media. What's your preferred method? You like cold calling? Do you like door knocking?
So I tried all of that in my first year. There's a guy in my office now. He is an amazing prospector. So I sat with him. I took all his tips on cold calling, expireds and FISBOs and things like that. And he's awesome. And I did it for one day. I actually got an expired listing and sold it. So I don't know why I don't still do it, but it's not my I guess it's not my go-to. My go-to is social media. It is friends, family, sphere of influence, referrals. So I love my clients. Like I don't sell houses because I love houses, although I love them too, but I love people. And I love that moment when I'm searching with someone and we find their house and their eyes light up. I love that moment. Like that's why I do this. I have really great relationships with my clients. So I'm mostly referral based and social media. That's how my business flows.
Yeah, I think that's the dream for everybody. They're trying to get from a place of having to actively prospect to just becoming completely and entirely referral based, to the point where
Right.
your people are contacting you to do business,
Right.
and contacting you to do things.
Absolutely.
As we know, the market on Long Island has been absolutely insane. It's been absolutely bananas for many months now. And so there's a lot of new home buyers who are coming into the market. Some are coming out from the city, some are coming out from other regions, and there's a lot of new buyers who need to purchase. And it's a seller's market, as we know. The sellers have all the control, and there's a limited amount of inventory and so many people who want to buy. So if you could give some advice to people who may be watching this and need to purchase a home, what would be the advice that you would give them?
First and foremost, I've been telling all my clients, stay patient, persistent, and positive in this market, because it's very easy to get discouraged. You're out there, you're online for 2 hours waiting to get into a house. Either you love it and you're up against 20 people, or you waited 2 hours and you hate it. So it can be very discouraging. Don't get discouraged. Also, come to the table prepared. Have your pre-approval, have your finances in order, have a great banker who's available. If you need to call at 8 o'clock on a Thursday night to put in an offer, they're ready to give you that updated pre-approval. And have an amazing realtor on your side who knows this market and who knows how to get you into these houses and how to position yourself appropriately. The offers need to be strong. They also need to make sense. And you really need a team. I have people call me all the time, like, I'm just calling the listing agent. And I'm like, it's really not the way in this market. You really need someone who knows what they're doing and can guide you.
Right. No, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And that's one of the things with buyers, is to price given competitive offers, because usually what we tell our clients is, give maybe like 5 to 10% below
Right.
listing price in a normal market.
Doesn't exist.
But, but now we're going into a completely different situation where we're telling our
Right.
clients that you either have to give an offer at listing price, and most of the time 5 to 10% above listing price.
Correct.
And I know a lot of buyers who are pre-approved for a certain amount. They're pre-approved for $500,000 or $600,000, but they're looking at homes that are 650 or seven, and they like all these different homes. And we as realtors have to tell them, you have to be realistic with your expectations, because
Right.
you should be either looking at houses that are at the amount that you're approved for, or ideally looking at houses that you are below the amount that you're approved for, because it's very likely that you're going to have to put in an offer that is higher than the actual listing price, just due to how the market is at the moment.
Right.
A lot of people think that it's because realtors are evil people, or that we sit around twiddling our thumbs thinking about how we can make sure that our clients lose the most money. But it's
Right.
not really like that. We're just trying to help. I genuinely want to make sure that you get the home. And unfortunately, we end up in a lot of situations where um, when people you don't put in a competitive offer, and you end up losing the house, and then it's just a bad
Right.
situation all around. The buyer is upset because they lost the house, you lost the deal, and it's just not a good situation all around. So pricing competitively, putting in a competitive offer from the get-go is so important. And I think that all the buyers who are watching this should definitely keep that in mind
Yeah.
going into this market, because it's just so competitive at the moment. And it's not because we're evil, it's not because we want to make sure that you lose money. It's because that we want to help you genuinely secure that house that you want.
Right. I mean, I'm having sit down home buyer consultations. I mean, I always do that, but especially in this market, I'm having these sit down first time home buyer consultations where, I'm prepping my clients right from the get go. I mean, you pick up Newsday, you know what's going on in the market, you know how competitive it is. The information is everywhere. So I'm having those conversations up front. Look, we have to be patient, persistent, positive, and we have to be aggressive. And if you are pre-approved for 550, but your comfort level is 5, we should probably be looking at like 480, because we're going in at least asking price or more if the home is priced appropriately. Don't get me wrong. There's some listings that maybe overpriced, so we're seeing price drops, or there may be some room there. But if a home is priced right at market value or slightly below, we need to know that we're going in full ask or more.
We're talking to you, for sale by owners. But there's a lot of talk about the market, and it's crazy right now, and and this shows no indication of stopping, in my opinion. It's just continues to go on and get crazier and crazier. But a lot of people are predicting a crash. A lot of people think that going into 2021, there's going to be a big crash, and things are going to get terrible, and there's going to be a lot of people who are unfortunately going to leave the business, and it's just going to be a bad time for real estate. What are your opinions on that? Do you think that we're going to ride this wave a little bit longer, or do you think that we're going into some deep water here?
I have no crystal ball. I wish I did, but my clients ask me this all the time. I mean, even when quarantine hit, I had clients calling me like, do you think now's the time to get a deal? And who the heck could have predicted what would happen when we went back full force into real estate? So I have no idea what's going to happen. What I can say is that if people lose the business because the market gets a little harder, then, like, I'm still going to be here. We're all still going to be okay. I hope that the market doesn't crash. In my opinion, it doesn't look like it either. I have no idea. Whatever it is, I'm going to ride it out, and I'm going to be there for my clients. That I know.
Definitely. We're always going to be here for our clients, helping no matter what the market is going to be doing. I think personally, we're going to ride it out a little bit longer. And I spoke to Charles about this in a previous episode, and because the Federal Reserve is thinking about keeping interest rates low through 2022. So I think we're going to ride this wave out a little bit longer than just 2021. I think we're going to be all right.
I agree. I don't see it changing much.
Right. I don't see it changing either. But when you're speaking to potential clients, a lot of these home buyers, or sometimes home sellers sometimes may have different ideas about what their home may be worth compared to what it's actually worth. Home buyers, a lot of home buyers that we're now working with are first-time home buyers, because they're coming out from the city to a place where they were leasing or renting, and they have no idea how the home purchasing process actually works, and they need somebody,
Right.
need a lot of help and a lot of guidance along the way, because they're very nervous because it's their first transaction, it's their biggest
Right.
and its biggest transaction, because and they've never purchased a home before.
Right.
So when you're approaching a potential client who's looking to buy for the first time, or a seller who's looking to sell and make the move, especially in times that are as tumultuous as this, how do you approach a client of that sort, and how do you go about speaking to them and reassuring them, and so that they're set up for success?
For a buyer, you mean? For someone who's buying in this market?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a home buyer consultation with all my new clients. So whenever I get a new client, wherever it comes from, we set up a home buyer consultation. Of course, I used to meet them for coffee. Now we're pretty much doing it on Zoom. I have, a presentation and a checklist. I mean, and let's be honest, there's a lot of steps in buying a house. And most people think it's just offer, inspection, contract, I'm done. And we both know there's a lot of stuff that goes on in between. So what I found very early on, that the most important thing I could do is bring value to my clients and teach them what they're about to go through. So this home buyer consultation, I will not skip it with anybody. We have to sit down and we have to go through this, so they feel very educated, very empowered and informed as we're starting their house hunt. They know exactly what they're going to go through. They know when they're going to spend money, their home inspection, their attorney. They know the players. They know the team that they need. And that has helped my clients feel very comfortable as we're getting going. They know that I'm on their side. I'm here. I'm working for them as a buyer's agent. And I set their expectations properly. Look, we've been in a pretty strong seller's market for a while now, not just with Corona. This just like made it even crazier. It's like almost unreal. But setting their expectations when you first meet, for me, that's the most important thing you do. Tell them what the market looks like and what they have to do. And I tell all my clients too, I will never, ever spend your money. I'm not paying your mortgage. I can't tell you a house is worth 20, 30, 40 over asking price to you. I can't tell you that. I will guide you. I'll tell you what I think it's going to take for you to get this house. And at the end of the day, you make the decision that's right for you. And sometimes people have to lose a few homes before they realize that, this is the way the market is. And when they find the one that's worth it, then they do it. They go for it.
Right. No, definitely. I absolutely agree. And making sure that everybody is aware of what's going on and giving it to them straight, instead of beating around the bush, is so important.
Right.
Because we're
Right.
just trying to help at the end of the day. We're not trying to spend your money. We're not trying to get as much money in our pockets as possible. We're just trying to genuinely help people and make the process of buying or selling a home as easy as possible, because it's a stressful transaction, because it's arguably the largest asset that you have, and so
Correct.
it can be very, very stressful and very, very difficult to
Mhm.
work with that. So it's very important that you work with a realtor and a team that knows what they're doing, that's confident, has good experience and good knowledge, and
Right.
keeps you in the loop on everything that's going on. That's so
Absolutely.
important. There's been a lot of talk about AI, and Zillow's opening their own brokerage, and discount brokers coming into the space. So a lot of realtors are thinking, is this a good time to get into the business? Are realtors becoming more and more obsolete by the day? Are we getting into a position where maybe realtors aren't going to be as needed as they were beforehand, because we have these discount brokers and these salaried agents, and Zillow's opening a brokerage, and all of these other things are coming out? What are your opinions on that? Do you think that agents are going to become obsolete, or do you think that it's just talk right now?
Absolutely not. For me, you're buying and selling the biggest asset of your life, right? It's emotional, it's stressful. How do you do that with a computer? To me, that doesn't make any sense. I I don't ever see agents going anywhere, because I feel like we're needed, and there's that human connection that's also needed when you're making the biggest decision of your life, whether you're selling your house or buying a home. I feel you need human connection. You need someone who's been there, who's done this, who understands, who can guide you. And I don't understand how anyone could do that, from a screen. Click, okay, buy now. I mean, come on. There's something very special about walking through a home with my clients, like I said, and seeing their eyes light up. But that's something that I think that both parties want. Sellers and buyers want someone there to guide them through this emotional process. Are there people who are very just numbers? That's it. They don't care. There's no emotion. Sure. But the majority of people want a human working with them to make this monumental decision. So I don't think we're going anywhere. I'm not. I'll say it again.
Right. I would definitely agree with that. I think that at this point in time, I think it's just even more important for us agents to demonstrate the value that we provide to our clients and how we can
Right.
differentiate ourselves from those salaried agents, from the Zillow brokerages, from the Redfins
Right.
of the world, and from the salaried agents. Because somebody who's on a salary is not going to be personally invested in your sale of your home because
Right.
they're getting paid no matter what. They're on a salary. They're not going to take time out of the day to answer phone calls at odd hours of the day. They're not going to spend time updating you. They don't, because it doesn't matter to them because
Right.
they're on a salary. It really doesn't matter whether they sell or not. They're getting paid either way. So having
Correct.
who's so personally invested and giving you that personal one-on-one experience and knowing that if this transaction doesn't go through, if they don't sell your home and if they don't do what as advertised, you don't get paid.
Right.
So having a realtor like that is so important, and having somebody who is dedicated, who is invested in the sale of your home or in the purchase process is so important compared to so many of the other brokerages. Because I mean, discount brokerages are nothing new. They've been
Right.
around since the conception of real estate brokerages in the first place. They've been around for a very long time, yet they only
Mm-hmm.
control around 10 to 15% of the market share. They're,
Correct.
and there's a reason for that. It's because people don't get that personalized experience. It's because
Right.
people would rather work with a traditional brokerage, albeit if for more. Even if they do have to pay more because they do want that personalized experience, they do want that high level of investment into their home, into the sale or purchase of their home, and they do want all of that. And
Right.
I mean, I get a lot of I've talked from buyers or for a lot of for sale by owners and other sellers who are like, well, why should I pay you 6% or 7% or full commission when I can pay a discount brokerage's broker 1.5 or 2% commission? And
Right.
and my response to that is that number one, they don't actually tell you this, but you also have to pay the buyer side of the commission, which is an
Right. Right.
additional 5%. So you end up going around up to 3 to 4% anyway. And
Right.
even when you had that 1 to 2% disparity, um, when you have somebody who's going to be so invested in you as a client, who's going to be invested in you in your transaction, because you know that they're not going to get a penny. We're not going to get a penny until that the transaction is closed, the money is in your hand. You can either move, the buyer has the keys, and everything is said and done with. That is the only point at which we
Right.
get paid compared to a traditional or I guess you could say a salaried agent who's getting paid either way and who's not going to be personally invested in the transaction. So,
Right.
so this is just so important for us to differentiate ourselves, demonstrate our value as realtors, and to say, if we are charging full commission, but we're also offering a full service.
Right.
If you want to pay peanuts, then you're going to get monkeys. I don't know.
Mhm.
So, so that's just how it is. I think so. I definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, the expired listing that I got, they were with some discount brokerage. And when the listing expired and I took it over, I listed it at the same exact price she had it listed at for 6 months with no offers and hardly any showings. And it was sold in 2 weeks. And my client called me and said, I wish I had done this from the get-go because you did more in 2 weeks than this other person did in 6 months. And it's for exactly the reasons that you're saying. They don't care. There's not a personal interest in helping these people, you know. So
Right now, absolutely. With everything that's going on right now, I think that a lot of realtors have been working remotely or working away from a brick and their offices or things like that, or holding, as you said previously, holding these buyer and sellers consultations over Zoom or over video call rather than in person. So I gotta ask you, what do you prefer? Do you prefer being with that personal experience, being with that seller or buyer belly to belly, being with them face to face, and talking to them that way, or do you like the little bit more online way where you're at home and you're just talking to them over the video call?
No, I definitely prefer to be face to face with my clients. I mean, look, I love people. This is why I do real estate. I really love people. So I want to be with people. And I think that can't be matched by being on Zoom or FaceTime with somebody. However, Zoom and FaceTime have been great to me, to my business, for my clients, and has helped me stay connected with them. So I'm not discounting it. But look, if someone's happy to have me in their home for a listing presentation, I'm there. If they prefer to do it on Zoom, that's fine too. But I much rather be with my people in person.
Okay. I mean, there are a lot of agents who, I mean, because I feel like there are a lot of brokerages that are now cloud brokerages that don't have a traditional brick and mortar location or office location, because they feel that they can save a lot more money by being a cloud brokerage and having all their agents work remotely. So, I mean, what do you prefer? Do you prefer having that brokerage where you had that professional office setting where you can come into the office and commingle with all of the other agents and speak, and speak to your broker, and just be in that professional setting? Or would you just prefer, not having that office and just working from wherever you want to work from?
Look, one of the freedoms of our business is, even before Corona, is that this is something you can do, and you can never step foot in an office, and that's okay. If you can work that way, good for you. However, again, I think that there's something that can't be matched by being around like-minded people, being in an office setting where you can meet with your broker or other agents, throwing ideas off of each other. I mean, I've learned a lot just by coming in my office and sitting with other agents and chatting about what we're doing this week, this month, this year. So I don't think I'm someone who would ever be a good fit for no brick and mortar location. I enjoy people, and I like to be around like-minded people. And I think that helps, at least for me, fuel my success and to help me help others. So I'll never go full cloud.
Um, let's see what's good. What do you think is one of the most? I mean, there's so many different qualities that realtors need to have. They need to be patient. They need to be dedicated. They need to be hardworking. Emphasis on the patience. And
Yes.
what do you think is the most important quality for a prospective realtor to have?
That's a good one, because you've named a lot of good ones. The most important quality, well, work ethic, I would say, is probably at the top, because this is a very hard career, right? You could join any brokerage. Who cares? If you produce, you make money. If you don't, who cares? You're not on a salary. So you have to be, you really have to be self-driven, and you have to have a lot of strong work ethic, and you got to be able to get up and push yourself. Because I remember in the very beginning, when I first went full time, there were some days I woke up and I was like, do I have a job? What should I be doing? And luckily, I've been working since I'm 13 years old. I have a very strong work ethic. So I would get up every day, even though I didn't have appointments or clients to show homes or a listing appointment, but I would get up every day and go to my office and ask for help. That's really important, especially when you first get going. You have to have that work ethic and that drive to chase the information you need to be successful in this business, because no one's coming to shove it down your throat. They're really not.
Right. No, definitely. I definitely agree with that. You got to be a self starter, because one of the things
Yeah.
about real estate is that there's nobody that's watching you. With a traditional job, or if you're in school, there's a boss, there's somebody who's watching over you. And if you don't hit get projects done by certain deadlines, and if you don't hit certain goals, and if you don't hit certain production levels, you get in trouble. The boss is going to yell at you. Somebody's gonna, you're going to get fired. Something bad's going to happen to you. Meanwhile, if you're in real estate and you don't do anything, nobody really is going to tell you otherwise. If I just sit around all day and do nothing, then nobody's going to really say anything to me. And the only person that I'm really, I guess you could say, screwing over is myself. And I'm the only person I'm doing a serious disservice to is myself. So being that self-starter and being holding yourself accountable is so important in this business. And it is difficult, but I mean, if you can find an accountability partner or somebody that you can work with who can keep you accountable, like that broker or like those people in the office, where you can keep each other accountable. I know a lot of agents like to do, friendly competition with one another to see
Right.
who do the most business and things like that to keep each other accountable. I think that's just so important.
Yeah. I met a woman, my friend Denise, she's become one of my best friends. We were both brand new to real estate. We were in like a boot camp together and we just latched onto each other. And I'm telling you, if it wasn't for her, I don't know like if I would still be here, because she and I bounced ideas off each other. We encouraged each other. And I like that. Accountability partners are like, unmatched. They really help you stay focused, stay sane. This roller coaster of real estate could really, drive some people to quit. And most realtors do. They quit very early on. So yeah, I'm grateful for her.
Right. No, a lot of people do end up quitting. It's like, I think it's like has one of the highest failure rates of any career in
Mhm.
the United States. I mean, the majority of realtors who come into this business will not be here by the end of
Right.
the year. And I think it's because a lot of people have that mentality where it's a get rich quick scheme, or they see people making a lot of money and doing a lot of deals and they just come into it not knowing all of the work and effort that has to go on behind the scenes and things that really go
Right.
on when people are not watching. And so they think that it's so easy. And then when they get into it, they realize that there's a lot of work and effort that actually goes into it. So,
Absolutely.
for all the people who think that realtors do nothing, you're,
We do a lot, I
go
promise.
get your license and then speak.
Right.
I've asked this question to quite a few of our guests, and we've gotten some pretty crazy stories on here. But if you could go back and remember your craziest moment in real estate. We have so many crazy stories because being a real estate agent is a crazy profession, and we work with so many crazy people, and there's so many crazy experiences. If you could recount the craziest experience of your career, what would it be?
I don't know that I've really had anything that crazy. Like, I don't know that I really had anything that crazy. I mean, I've had like sad stuff happen to my clients, unfortunately. I would say this is crazy, but in a good way. I had a client, I just did a video about this, but I had a client 4 years ago. I was a part-time realtor, so they were like my only client for the entire year. We went to full contract. They fell in love with this house 2 weeks prior to their closing. The seller backed out. No reason, just sent the down payment check back, couldn't move. So it was a nightmare. It was like, and I'm like, it was just terrible. They were good friends of mine. It was very sad. So anyway, they decided they were not going to house hunt anymore. He went to school, whatever, they did their thing. This was 4 years ago. About 3 weeks ago, they called me. They're pre-approved again. They're ready to get going. 3 days later, that same house hit the market that they were in contract for 4 years ago. So I'm like, she calls me, I want this house. It's back on the market. You're never going to believe it. I'm like, no way. So I called the listing agent. I'm like, are you the same agent? Yes, I'm the same agent. We were in contract. We need to make the universe right again. But of course, he's got to do his job for the seller. Open house, 20 offers, 15, 20 offers. And yes, moral of the story is we're back in full contract on that house. We put our best foot forward and the universe is right again. So I would say that's crazy, but in a good way. It's like it came full circle and this is meant to be their home. So
I think so. I think that the universe is trying to tell them something. I think
yeah, absolutely.
it's very it's great because it is such a crazy market, and it is hard to secure a house. We're seeing
Yeah.
going 10, 20, 30. I think Raymond was saying this last time. He saw a house that went $70,000 over asking price.
Yep.
It's just insane. They're very I'm very glad that they got to secure that house again, and
Me
hopefully
too.
everything goes well and
Yes.
the seller doesn't pull any more crazy moves.
I know, I'm praying. I'm like, please.
Yeah,
I can't handle it.
yeah, hopefully they
Yeah.
don't do anything crazy and everything goes well and smoothly, and
Yes.
they get to that house.
Absolutely.
Have you ever been in a position? I mean, I asked this question to Brian last time he was on here, and this, as you were saying before, there are some people who we work with and we vibe with and we resonate with, and we can work them very easily and they're great and everything goes well. But then there are some people who aren't so easy to work with and are a little bit more particular, or who have some unrealistic expectations or things that they're not willing to compromise, or have, some odd requests or things like that. So have you ever been in a position where I mean, realtors get fired all the time from listings and from being buyers agents, and so they get fired all the time. Have you ever been in a position where you've had to fire a client?
Luckily, I have not. I've not been there. I I had one client who we were working together for a while. It was one of my first clients, actually. He called me on Zillow on one of my listings, came to see it, didn't work for him, but begged me to help him because no one would help him, right? So we were working together for about 3, 4 months. And I mean, seeing, 10, 20 houses a weekend and for 3 or 4 months straight. And I guess there were some unrealistic expectations there about what kind of home he could get in what area in this price point. And I was like this close to being like, look, I don't think that we're the right fit. This may not be working out. And then I finally convinced him that for that price point, we needed to go a little further out east. And we found his house like the next week, but it took a long time. And I was very close to walking away because, look, we spent a lot of time, not just showing the homes, but making the appointments, following up, paperwork. We spent a lot of time. So I was really close, but I didn't. And I'm glad because honestly, they've become two of my greatest friends. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's I'm glad you stuck in there. I know a lot of other realtors, they'll show like 3 to 4 homes at a time, and they'll, you know after 10, they won't show more than 10 homes, if even.
I know.
And after that, it's just over. If you don't
I know.
you don't pick right off the bat, it's done. We're not showing you anymore. We're not wasting our time.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I've had clients call me and say, my last realtor showed me 10 homes, said like, you need to make a decision, and then fired them. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, these people are spending $500,000. You can't expect them to just pick something like that. It's a big decision. You got to stick with people, but you also have to make sure, obviously, that their expectations are realistic, and you're doing your job as the realtor to guide them in the right way to find their house. So
Absolutely, I definitely agree. Having realistic expectations is very, very important. Nicole, you do a lot of business, and you do a lot of transactions, and you do a lot of things, and it's a very crazy world where you are. How do you manage everything that's going on? How do you make sure that you're on top of everything? How do you get everything done that you need to get done? And how do you make sure that you stay organized and coordinate everything so that you can get everything done that you need to get done?
Well, I have an assistant, so she's been a godsend with that because, I should have listened to my broker when we were in quarantine, and he said, now's the time, get your systems in order, get all your stuff like super organized. Now is the time to do that. But I didn't. And then the world opened up again, and I got so busy that it got to the point where, it's hard. I mean, people don't realize how many hats we wear as realtors. We're literally our own little business, and we're everything. We're marketing, we're sales, we're admin, sometimes I'm a cleaning lady, a therapist. I mean, we wear a lot of hats. So I hired an assistant, and she has been an absolute godsend in helping me get all the back end stuff in order. Look, I have spreadsheets, I have a CRM, so I keep everything as clean and neat as I can, but really having some help when, you have quite a few clients in contract and things going on, and not to mention your future business. That's been my biggest saving grace, is hiring someone to help me do that.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Do you have a TC?
We call her an executive assistant. So she does pretty much everything a TC would do and then some. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, keeping on top of everything is very, very important, and especially delegating when you need to delegate.
Right.
That's the only way that you can really grow and scale and become bigger than you actually are, because
Yes.
there's only so many things that you can do in the day. So you do need some help every now
Right.
and then. So, and a lot of the agents who are watching this, I know that you guys are control freaks, and you need to be on top of everything, do everything personally, and
Yeah.
and be on top of everything. But it's okay. you can delegate a little bit. You can, it's okay to
Yes.
ask for help. So
Yeah, you can let go a little. I really, that was my problem. How do I let someone else do this part of my business? And then over the summer, I think at one time I had like 8 buyer clients at once, which is a lot. And I finally realized I'm pulling over, I'm looking up listings, I'm sending out, DocuSigns for the COVID disclosures and this and that. And I finally said, oh, geez, I need someone to do this. So she manages my schedule, she makes my appointments for me. I mean, she's my saving grace. So yeah, let go a little bit. It'll help. You could do more business if you let go a little.
right, absolutely. Well, have you thought, you're doing a lot of business now. Have you thought about maybe scaling, growing, building a team possibly so that you can continue to do more and more business and really grow further and further? Have you thought about, has that crossed your mind?
Of course, it has. It has. And I've been doing some stuff in the background, having some discussions about possibly bringing on a buyer's agent or two. To be honest, like I said, the assistant helped free up some of my time so that I could take on more clients. But you just get to this point where you can't do more than you are. You just can't be in 100 places at once. And that's kind of where I am. I'm at max capacity, even with the assistant. So a team is a possibility in the near future. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I'm planning that out.
All right. You've done a lot of things and you've been very, very successful at it. What do you think it really makes you so successful? And I mean, you are part of the top 1% of realtors. The majority of realtors don't do a single deal. And I think the average amount of transactions is like 12, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of realtors don't do the amount of business that you're doing. And you're really in that top 1% of realtors who do the business. And I think it's a statistic out there. It's like the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the realtors do 80% of the business.
Right.
So what do you think really makes you so successful, and how did you end up getting into that position where you are in that top 1%?
Well, like I said, I mean, real estate for me isn't so much about homes, but it's about people. And I think that I genuinely love people and I love what I do and I love being out with my people. And I think that that's really helped me. Like I really feel my clients know that I care. I don't just want to sell their house and never talk to them again. And we have fun when we're working together. We have a great time. And that's really helped me where my business is, I would say, 95% referral based, because I take this very seriously. I mean, I treat every one of my clients as if it's my own home or my family's home. And I work really hard. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I work probably 80 hours a week, most weeks. And yeah, I work very hard, but you have to, this is the biggest decision of people's lives. So I want them to know that I'm there for them. And I really do. I attribute that to part of that is my success and also having a great broker and mentor behind me who's helped me figure out what works for me, because what works for me doesn't work for every realtor. So he's helped me figure that out and helped me strengthen those things that have also helped grow my business. I've doubled my business from last year to this year. So, and it's pretty much since I joined him and took his advice and did what he said. And here we are. And I really love what I do. And I think people know that.
Right. That's really awesome. And I think that's so great that you are in a position where you're continuing to grow and get bigger, and your broker is very helpful to you. And I know a lot of people's brokers, as Charles says, don't do jack for them. And
I saw that.
And it's just never a good mutually beneficial relationship. Like, I mean, I don't even remember the last time I spoke to my broker.
Wow.
we don't cross paths very often. So, I mean, it is very important to have those people who support you, and being in that environment where there are people who are supporting you, giving you resources, giving you the tech, giving you sometimes the advice that you may need. And nobody's above advice, I feel, no matter how experienced or far along you become. Nobody is you can always learn something new. So, right. Yeah, very, very important. Nicole, is there yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'll be honest, like, they say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And that's how I try to live my life. I want to be around people who are doing more and better than me and learn from them. So I try to do that as often as I can.
Right. No,
And that's how I'll continue to grow.
right, absolutely. I think it's the same. Like, show me your friends, and I'll show you your future, sort of thing. Or
Yes.
you're the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yes.
Though there's a bunch of other sayings. We go over those. Nicole, is there a structure to your schedule, or is it really just whatever you want? You wake up and you decide what you're going to do to that day, or is there some sort of methodology that you follow? Do you have a strict regimen? Like, if you could just break down a day in the life of Nicole, how would that go?
I definitely do not have a strict regimen, although I love to carry my planner around. Yes, I still have a written planner. I don't know why. I like it in black and white. Um, no, I really don't. I don't have a strict regimen. I mean, I have a few things that I do every day, checking in with my assistant, checking in on all my clients, checking in on obviously where everyone is in their process. Um, but I make it a point, like I said, to come to my office, to be around like-minded individuals, to throw ideas around. So I make it a point to do that, I would say, like 3 to 5 times a week, as long as I have the time, of course. But I really don't have a strict regimen. I mean, I touch base with my clients and my broker and my colleagues every day. But other than that, I'm doing what comes up. I'm showing, I'm working, I'm on listing appointments, I'm doing follow-up on leads that I received that never listed or purchased. I'm doing those things every day. But I'd be a liar if I said I get up at 4 a.m. and go to the gym and read a book. That's not me. Maybe one day.
I know that there are a lot of the hustle people who talk about getting up at 5:30 and then doing this and then doing that and then sleeping
Yep.
6 hours a day. And then, I mean, I was talking to Brian last week and he's like, "Oh, I sleep 6 hours a day," and and I'm completely fine. And I think The Rock said something about it. He's like,
Yeah.
sleep more than 6 hours, you need to sleep faster.
Mhm.
And so like, I mean, they have some pretty hustle schedules.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's think of something that you've done a lot. You came into the real estate business. You crushed it. You continue to double in your business. You continue to grow year after year, regardless of a pandemic, regardless of whatever is going on. You continue to show your resolve and really continue to grow and expand. What does the future look like for you? Are you planning on continuing to grow, maybe getting into other businesses, maybe or continuing to grow your real estate business as it is now, a team that might potentially be in the future for you? Are you planning to just grow and continue to do double the amount of transactions you did this year, next year? Or
Right.
are you in a position where maybe you want to take your hands off, maybe you want to just sit back, let your business sort of coast on autopilot, maybe retire, hang up the glove,
Retire.
walk into the sunset and sip a margarita on the beach of Punta Cana? I mean, what does the future look like for you?
Well, that sounds nice. Sipping a margarita in Punta Cana sounds great, but maybe for a couple of days. I don't think I could do that forever. Like I said, I've been working since I'm 13, so me sitting still is like, it's not comfortable. But it's time to set the goals, obviously, for next year. We're almost in 2021. And what I will say about 2020 is that I went into that, I set a goal to do 48 transactions to help 48 clients and families find or sell their home. And when the pandemic hit, I was like, should I adjust my goal? Like, should I lessen it? And I decided not to, and I ended up surpassing it, which is awesome. So, for this next year, obviously, I want to continue my business. As I mentioned, potentially bringing on a buyer's agent or two would be ideal so that I can scale and hopefully, double my business and help more families again next year. I just partnered up with my broker, so I'm an owner of the Smithtown and Melville location. So obviously, that's a big focus, is bringing agents in and growing these locations that we have, which we've brought on some rock stars, so I'm excited about that. But that'll continue into this year. And this year I bought my first flip, so that's so that's really exciting, and I've been having fun with it. So I think that'll be what.
You're getting more into the investing side now?
Well, I mean, look, it's one flip, but I would like to continue to do that this year. Definitely. I definitely want to try to snatch up a few more flips, make them beautiful, get them to great families. So I would love for that to be a part of my business this year as well, a bigger part than it was this year. So.
Okay. And I'm gonna slip one more question in here. I know you have to go. I know it's good. We're getting a little, over schedule here. But
No, that's
what
okay.
do you do for financing for the flips? Do you have private money, or do you have traditional financing for it? What do you do for that?
Yeah, so we did hard money on this one. So yeah, we have a relationship, and it's been great. It's been working out. Um, so that's what we did here. I mean, I don't know that it's going to be what I do every time. I guess we'll see what that looks like in the future. But this is working out right now.
That's good. As long as you don't, rob any banks or do anything like that.
No.
Yeah, I think it pretty much wraps it up. I could ask you questions for the rest of the day. You're a very enjoyable person to talk to.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. But I understand you're very busy. You need to go. So we'll just wrap it up here. Thank you everybody for watching for today. Thank you Nicole for being here. Obviously, I got to plug myself before we go. My name is Ali. I'm a realtor here on Long Island. If you need to buy, sell, lease, or rent, I want to make your process as easy, simple, and convenient as possible. So be sure to give me a call, 631-604-8567. Again, that's 631-604-8567. Nicole, where can the good people of the internet find you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I had a good time. And if you want to find me, well, my cell is 631-923-7800. Instagram, Nicole_LI Realtor.
Okay, and we'll have all the information down in the description below. Be sure to like this video, subscribe so that we can help this thing grow. Share this video with your friends if you found anything that we said informational. Hopefully you found something that we said informational. And hit that notification bell so that you get notified every single time we upload a new video. Thank you to Nicole for being here today. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You as well. Take care.
Bye.